Thank you all. Thank you for having me back here. It's nothing better than spending a rainy night in Alabama with a bunch of deplorables. This barn's pretty lucky. That's why I recommend the judge we come back down here. Look, tonight I'm here as a private citizen because you've seen what all the powers that be are talking about the last couple of weeks. Let the folks in Alabama decide for Alabama. Now, how did we get there? Remember, last time I was here was the night before Judge Moore's big victory, or a couple days before Judge Moore's big victory in September over Luther Strange, almost a 10-point win. After being outspent $32 million to $2 million. And all the politics of personal destruction, right? Well, we hadn't seen anything yet, had we? They weren't going to sit there and accept that Judge Moore had won that runoff, were they? What were they going to do? You know what they want to do? They want to destroy Judge Roy Moore, and you know why? They want to take your voice away. This is not about Judge Moore. It's not about Donald Trump. This is about you. This is about you, 100%. This is about you. They're taking your voice away. Excuse me. Can the CNN producer please keep it down in the back? Come on, guys. You know I'm just kidding. God bless you. Come on, CNN, you know I'm just kidding. Fake news. We got them all here. By the way, they're all here today. All of them. Right? Financial Times of London, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. Now, why are they down here in Alabama? Why are they down at Fairhope on a rainy night? You know why? They understand that you're the power, the real power behind the greatest nation on earth. I was in Scotland last week talking to the 50 big swells in Scotland, right? Really good folks, run Scotland, highest thing. And all they want to talk about is the deplorables. All they want to talk about is the silent majority. All they want to talk about is you. And you know why? They understand you're mobilized. They understand you're angry. And they understand you're going to do something about it. The day of just taking it silently is over. That's what the opposition party up here, the opposition party media, and that's what the establishment understands, Republican and Democratic. If they can destroy Roy Moore, they can destroy you. They're trying to send a signal to every young man and woman in this country that if they're going to stand up for their people, if they're going to stand up, that they're going to be destroyed. And what they've tried to do is try to make lies about this whole movement about economic nationalism. Said we're ethno-nationalists. You have to remember, I take out a number 2 pencil and write it down, opposition party. Economic nationalism does not care about your race, your color, your ethnicity, your religion, your gender, or your sexual preference. Here it cares about. That you're a citizen of the greatest country on earth, the United States of America. They never want to talk about the facts. They never want to talk about what the global project has done. Globalization. And the globalists in Washington, D.C., that's what this race really comes down to. It comes down, are you going to support a guy like Doug Jones? By the way, is Doug Jones a Democrat? Now, I got a question. You certainly couldn't tell it from anything he's advertising and running around, right? You couldn't tell that Brother Jones has been with the Clintons for 20 or 30 years, right? Supporting them. No, just like any Democrat, when they want to run, they're all conservative. They're all nationalist, right? They all support the troops. They're all for law and order. Do you believe any of that? Let's talk about the Republican establishment, because they're the ones that first came after Judge Moore. Let's talk about Jeff Flake. Did he sign a check today, $100 to Jones, right? What do you say, put country ahead of party? Come on, brother, if you're going to write a check, right? Don't give the man $100. Are you kidding me? Hey, Flake, this is why your approval rating in your home state is like 11%. No. Man, you're a total embarrassment. If you're going to write a check. Support somebody. Flake has hated Donald Trump from day one. Flake has hated this movement from day one. He wrote the book, the anti-populist, the anti-economic nationalist book. Came right out of the box, first out of the, trashed all the deplorables, trashed all the silent majority, trashed everybody associated with this movement. Remember, Flake is a guy that the day before the election, they asked him, I think it was MSNBC or one of the networks, asked him, hey, we're going to, make a thing on if Hillary Clinton wins or if Donald Trump wins. And he laughed. He said, we don't need to do the Trump one. I'll just do the Hillary Clinton winning. That's Jeff Flake has done nothing but run the president of the United States down since the president won. And then he comes out at the last second and says, I'm going to give $100 to a Democrat. But this tells you all you need to know. The Republican establishment and with the Democratic establishment, they think America's in decline, right? And they're comfortable managing that decline. It is the working men and women in Ohio, in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, and yes, right here in Alabama, that rejected that. Make America great again. The silent majority, the deplorables, they're not comfortable. And they will not accept America's decline. They're going to fight tooth and nail. And Senator Flake, the reason you're 11% in your own state and Kelly Ward was beating you by 27 points is that you don't get that. All this stuff about Jeff Flake, Kelly Ward would have beaten you by 25 to 27 points. I don't want to hear about Jeff Flake. You could have gone to be a better candidate against a Democrat. You had no chance of winning. That's why you stepped down. Let's talk about another beauty. Willard Mitt Romney. Now, I want you to understand something. It was Willard Mitt Romney's comment yesterday, his tweet or whatever it was, and the only reason I'm going there, Mitt, because you started it. Mitt, you had to go there. All the insults you made about the President of the United States, put all that in back of us. He interviewed you for Secretary of State. Everything's fine. But no, Judge Moore's got to run. You got to jump in here. Honor, what did he say yesterday? Honor and integrity. Honor and that Judge Moore lacked honor and integrity, and that's why he couldn't vote for him, right? Couldn't support him. Judge Moore is a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point. Judge Moore served his country in one of the toughest wars we've ever had, Vietnam. And he went over there for his country, his state, and his family. Mitt, that's honor and integrity. And by the way, Mitt, while we're on the subject of Vietnam and honor and integrity, you avoided service, brother, right? You served. Okay, Mitt, here's how it is, brother. Now the college deferments, that's we can debate that, but you hid behind your religion. You went to France to be a missionary while guys were dying in rice paddies in Vietnam. Do not talk to me about honor and integrity. And now I'm going to get personal. You ran for commander-in-chief. You had 5 sons. Not one day of service in Afghanistan and Iraq. We have 7,000 dead and 52,000 casualties. And where were the Romneys during those wars? You want to talk about honor and integrity, brother? Bring it. Bring it down here to Alabama. You have the guts to get on the stage. You have the guts to get on the stage of a man that served in Vietnam, and you expect us to believe honor and integrity? Judge Roy Moore has more honor and integrity in that pinky finger than your entire family has in its whole DNA. And you know why he's on Judge Moore. He's still bitter about Donald Trump. Embrace it, Mitt. He is President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, something you so miserably failed at. I cannot close this section of the talk without mentioning my favorite. Thank you very much. He likes being, Mitch likes being called Leader McConnell. No, in Washington, they all call him Leader. All the consultants and all the lobbyists all run Leader McConnell. Leader. He likes being called Leader McConnell. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hey, Mitch, you just Mitched us. McConnell started, it was Chuck Todd at the opposition party NBC. NBC of Matt Lauer fame, right? Wasn't it odd? Was it NBC with the Billy Bush tape that gave it to the Washington Post? Was it not the Washington Post that had some of these things about? No, there's no conspiracy. That's all just in the natural order of things. Let's be right, okay? This whole thing was a setup. This whole thing was weaponized, right? You know that. Folks down here in Alabama know that. This was the Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Washington Post. Even Chuck Todd of NBC, of Matt Lauer fame, Chuck Todd, he even said it looked like it looked like a coordinated hit. Because Mitch McConnell was out 57 minutes later saying Judge Moore should drop out. When Mitch McConnell said on Sunday, let the people of Alabama decide. This is a very tough crowd down here tonight. I thought sitting you folks down and making it less honorary. I guess that's not right. Mitch McConnell from day one, and this is what you got to understand with Flake and Romney and McConnell and the whole crowd. This is the scam. They don't mind giving up a seat to a Democrat. You know why? They don't mind being in the minority party. They don't mind being out of power. They don't. Because here's the joke. They can make as much money on the way down as they made on the way up. Right? They would just assume, as long as they can control the apparatus, right? They'll be the minority. Donald Trump won in Wisconsin and brought Ron Johnson across the finish line. He won in Pennsylvania and brought Toomey across the finish line. He won in Missouri and brought Blunt across the finish line. He won in North Carolina and brought Burr across the finish line. Mitch, you owe your job to Donald J. Trump. But he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about that. The Republican establishment campaigned for a Democrat for 4 solid weeks. And we're going to hold you accountable. You're not going to be able to walk away now, Mitch. Mitch, it's going to be a little harder than just saying on a Sunday show, let the folks of Alabama decide. The folks of Alabama were always going to decide, Mitch. Right? You know what changed their mind? You know what changed their mind? It was the numbers. When the polls started coming back. Right? That's what changed their mind. They have no interest in what you have to say. They think you're a bunch of rubes. Right? They hold you in total contempt. Can anything show they hold you in more total contempt than what they did to Judge Moore? Remember, it's not Judge Moore they're trying to shut up. It's you they're trying to shut up. If I had to go through every weak-willed individual up on Capitol Hill, we'd be up here all night. But hang on. But he brings up a good point. I've seen this crowd before. Billy Bush weekend. They all ran to the hills. They all got scared. You know what they got scared? They got scared what the opposition party was going to say about them. They are cowards. They'll never have your back. They're only using your vote to keep their power, make their money, right? They could care less what happens in Alabama. You can tell that by the trade deals they support. You can tell that by the immigration laws that they refuse to enforce. Do you think they care about Kate Steinle? Do you think they care about the economic hate crimes they foisted on the working men and women, black, Hispanic, white, and Asian in this country? Do you think they care? They do not. And let's go now to the even crazier globalist Democrats. I got to get this right. And by the way, I'm just down here. This is for the citizens of Alabama, and Doug Jones is a citizen of Alabama, and I respect that. But I can't believe this brother is running in the state of Alabama with this record. It's amazing. What planet are you on? Man, guns, abortion, immigration, trade. He's a Clinton globalist. You wouldn't know that by his campaign literature, right? Because he's trying to avoid all that. He's trying to avoid 20, 30 years of backing the Clinton agenda. And here's what the Clinton agenda is. The Clinton agenda is support a globalist elite. And this is not a conspiracy theory. Folks, I went to Harvard Business School. I went to Goldman Sachs. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's in broad daylight, right? They say, Bannon, why are you so angry? Why are these people, why are they so angry? Because if you're rational and have a brain, you have to be angry. It's these policies of the Democratic Party, the globalist elite, supported by the Republicans, that have helped to gut this country. And it's Doug Jones has been there every step of the way. Whether it's on cultural issues, like abortion or guns. I've never seen a guy so radical on guns, right? How about he's radical on abortion? I mean, he's radical. Did he say anything on Kate Steinle? Did he say anything on sanctuary cities? Has he said anything on immigration besides his open borders? On trade, totally supports the Clinton agenda. 100%. A vote for Doug Jones is a vote for the Clinton agenda. And that's what the people in Alabama, to me, ought to be focused on. Not this politics of personal destruction. Compare and contrast it to President Trump. I mean, that's what we did on the campaign, right? He was way down. We got involved. I said it didn't matter, all these polls. They don't matter. Here's the only two numbers that matter. 2/3, 1/3 think the country's on the wrong track. And 75% of your countrymen thinks America's in decline. That's the only number that matters. She's the representative of a corrupt and incompetent elite. And Donald Trump, all you have to be is the agent of change. All you have to be is the voice of the deplorables. And you will win, and you will win big. You've seen President Trump in the last couple of days, right? He understands where Roy Moore stands. He understands where Doug Jones stands. And guess what? He ain't writing a $100 check to Jones. Flake, I'm not going to be able to get off that, right? This is a referendum on the Trump program and the Clinton program. That's what it boils down to. Doug Jones is the personification of Hillary Clinton's policies. And in the United States Senate, he's going to be a voice for the Clintons. Is that what the folks in Alabama want? Look at what Donald Trump has done in 9 or 10 months. And by the way, you wouldn't know this from the opposition party because it's nonstop. It's investigations and all this stuff they got nonstop. You can't tell what he's done in the economy. They said he could never get above 1.8, 1.9%, 3.3% economic growth. The New York Fed the other day in their forecasting said in the fourth quarter it's going to be 3.9%. I think I have this correctly, and if I don't, I'm sure the Washington Post will correct me. But I believe in the entire time they've had this one forecasting mechanism, they've never been at 3.9% economic growth. Unemployment's at a 17-year low. Black unemployment's at a 16-year low. Hispanic unemployment's at an 11-year low. Wages in agriculture and in construction, particularly at the lowest levels, are starting to increase. Business investment's up 10%. Business confidence is a 20-year high. It's economic nationalism. You know what he did? He stopped illegal immigration to stop the unfair competition against black and Hispanic working class people. He's got them on the run in Mexico and Canada on NAFTA. They're squealing every day in the Wall Street Journal saying Trump's being too tough. He's asking for too much. He's being too greedy. Being too greedy? He represents the United States of America. How about a good, fair deal? He's in Korea renegotiating a deal, and they say you can't do it during the time of this situation in North Korea. It's the exact time you have to. They're either a partner or you're not, right? You got to throw a little something in the kitty. There's too many of these protectorates, right? It's your sons and daughters. This post-war, rules-based international order that all the highfalutin people in the Wall Street Journal and the Financial Times of London and on Morning Joe, those geniuses, right? Right? Every day they're on that. They fail to understand that's an inextricably linked network of commercial relationships, trade deals, capital markets, and a security guarantee by guess who? The sons and daughters of this audience. Whether you're serving with the army in Korea on a ship in the South China Sea, in the Hindu Kush, or in NATO, up near Ukraine, so working men and women's children that are there. How many elites' children are in that 7,000 dead in Afghanistan and Iraq? How many of the 52,000 wounded? The other day they did a study. Brown University, and Brown University is not Breitbart, okay? It is as liberal as you can get. The Watson Center, $5.6 trillion on the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, the rest of the global war on terror. $5.6 trillion, 7,000 dead, 52,000 wounded. I think the present value of the medical obligations we have to the wounded is something like $1 trillion. When they talk about this international order, they talk about not America first. It's not Donald Trump's an isolationist. Donald Trump's the exact opposite. He wants an engaged America on America's terms. There are too many people that have gamed the system. We're upside down on every trade deal in the world, and yet we pay trillions of dollars to support this system. The day's over. The rest of the world has got to stand up with the United States for themselves. Look at what Donald Trump's accomplished. The tax cut's not even through yet. And by the way, Mitch, the tax cut's not going to save you, right? Tax cut's okay, but it's not going to save you. These folks are not going to agree to that throughout the rest of the country. The tax cut it's working its way through the system. Trump's delivered 3.3 to 3.9% economic growth, high investment, people coming in from all over the world to build plant and equipment because they want to get ahead of the tariffs and the quotas, right? That's economic nationalism. You know, if Barack Obama had done this, what Donald Trump had done, they'd have given him a Nobel Prize in economics. Let's talk about Trump in the world. On his inaugural speech, he wrote the following words: "We're going to rejuvenate old alliances and create new ones. And we are going to unite the civilized world to eradicate radical Islamic terrorism from the face of the earth." When President Trump wrote those words down at Mar-a-Lago where he was working on the speech, his chief strategist opined that that's a pretty big check that we're going to have to cash, right? He says, I know. 10 months into his administration, the physical caliphate of ISIS has been destroyed. In 2014, the caliphate had 8 million people, right, between Syria and Iraq, almost in slavery. And they say, oh, he's just following through Obama's policies. Excuse me. He annihilated the physical caliphate of ISIS. And if Barack Obama had done that, they would have given him his second Nobel Prize. President Trump and the opposition party hates it, and the Democrats and the Republican establishment hate it. President Trump is doing an amazing job of turning this country around. Think about it. The America First policy has people. He went to Riyadh. He gave a speech that was unbelievable. He then made sure that people were empowered to stop the financing of radical Islamic terrorism. You've seen what's happened in Qatar. You've seen what's happened in Saudi Arabia. These allies who have never moved quickly or boldly are now taking actions on their own with American support, right? He's taken on Iran. They announced today that I think this week he's going to announce that as everybody in Alabama already knows, the capital of Israel is Jerusalem. This election is going to boil down to something very simple. Do you support the program of Donald J. Trump that Judge Moore supports? Or do the good folks in Alabama support the program of Hillary Clinton, already rejected on November 8th of 2016, that Doug Jones represents? It's very simple. It's an up or down vote. An open and closed case. When you take away everything else, Doug Jones hiding from his record, Doug Jones hiding that he's a Democrat, all the out-of-state money that's pouring in here. By the way, poor Judge Moore's $32 million versus $2. This time it's even worse, right? But people throughout the country, the hobbits, the deplorables have stepped up with $5 and $10 donations for Judge Moore. No big donors, because big donors don't want to give you a voice. The last couple of weeks have been tough weeks for some people, right? Haven't been tough weeks for me. You know, I made my decision a while ago. Like, I made my decision to stand with Donald Trump. And I said in that 60 Minutes interview, I said in that 60 Minutes interview with Charlie Rose, the media, that's such a sad thing that's going on with y'all. Trust me, you will never be the same. I said, when you stand and side with a man, you side with him, right? Donald Trump's not perfect. Donald Trump never made the case he was perfect. That weekend when everybody ran to the hills, I said it's locker room talk. All right? Afterwards, that stuff came out of the woodwork. You either believe Donald Trump or you don't. I believed him. The American people believed him. November 8th, he won the greatest come-from-behind victory in American political history. And with no support on Capitol Hill from the Republican establishment, right? Zero support. In fact, got, the House Intelligence Committee, the Senate Intelligence Committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee investigating him, right? No help by the Republican establishment. In the nullification project, and they're trying to nullify the 2016 election, the opposition party, the progressive Democrats, right? All their big donors, the Soros guys, they're trying to run President Trump out of office. With a track record like that, in 9 months, are you kidding me? Barack Obama could have been there for 16 years and not accomplished this. I'm not from Alabama, I'm from Virginia. This is going to be decided by the good men and women in Alabama next week. But the whole nation and the entire world is watching. Because this is a referendum. This is a referendum. Are we going to take this country back? Are we going to return it to its former greatness? Are we going to let a bunch of elites that have pillared this country over the last 30 or 40 years, are we going to allow them to win? You have a man that I think has integrity and honor. He went to West Point. He served his country. He served his state, his community, and his nation. He doesn't need any long introduction. He's never claimed, just like Donald Trump, he was perfect. If I remember correctly, he made his national, international reputation on putting the 10 Commandments up. The 10 Commandments. It's the basis of the Judeo-Christian West. And what does it tell us? Man is fallen, and man is imperfect. I'm honored to introduce the next senator of the state of Alabama, Judge Roy Moore.